After everything she had been through, the young woman finally stepped into a new life full of hope and possibilities. She had faced pain and fear, but now she stood strong, ready to live her life with purpose and joy. The second chance she had been given was more than just survival. It was a true new beginning. She took time to enjoy the simple pleasures around her. She loved feeling the warm sunlight on her face and hearing the laughter of children playing nearby. These small moments, which many people take for granted, were precious to her. They reminded her that life was beautiful and worth living. Her days were filled with work she loved. She helped others who were in trouble, just like she had been. Whether it was finding food for a hungry family, listening to someone who felt lonely, or teaching a child to read, she gave her time and heart freely. Helping others made her feel happy and strong. People in her community looked up to her. They admired her courage to rise above her difficult past. Many came to her for advice, or simply to share their stories. She listened carefully and offered words of kindness and hope. Her presence was like a warm light in the lives of many. She also worked hard to make her dreams come true. She saved money to start a small center where people in need could come for help and support. This center became a safe place for many, offering food, education, and friendship. It was her way of giving back the kindness she had received. The young woman's relationship with the stranger who saved her remained very special. They celebrated every achievement together, and the stranger continued to support her dreams. Their friendship was filled with trust, respect, and deep care. It showed that true friendship can last forever. As time passed, she found love again, not just in friendship, but in her heart. She met people who accepted her for who she was, who understood her story, and who loved her unconditionally. This new love helped heal old wounds and gave her hope for a happy future. Though her life had changed completely, she never forgot where she came from. She remembered the cold nights alone and the hunger she felt. These memories gave her strength and reminded her to be kind to everyone. She wanted no one else to feel as alone as she once did. She shared her story openly, hoping it would inspire others to believe in themselves and the power of kindness. She spoke at schools, community meetings, and events, always with a message of hope. Her courage encouraged many to help those who were suffering and to be more understanding. Her life was full of meaning now. Every day she found new reasons to smile and to be thankful. She knew that her second chance was a gift, not just from the stranger who saved her, but from the kindness she found in many hearts along the way. She also helped create a group of volunteers who worked together to support the community. They organized food drives, educational programs, and events to bring people closer. The young woman was proud to be part of this team, helping others just as she had been helped. The young woman's journey showed everyone that no matter how dark the past may be, the future can shine bright. It proved that a single act of kindness can change lives forever. Her story became a symbol of hope and the power of the human spirit. She continued to grow and learn every day. Challenges still came, but she faced them with courage and a positive heart. She believed that with love and support, anything was possible. Her life was a beautiful example of healing and strength. Looking back, she felt grateful for every person who touched her life. The stranger, the doctors, the nurses, her family, and the friends she made along the way. Each one helped her in a different way and made her who she was today. Her future was bright and full of promise. She planned to keep helping others and to spread kindness wherever she went. She wanted her story to remind the world that no one is ever truly alone and that everyone deserves a second chance. The young woman had finally found peace. She was no longer the frightened, abandoned girl she once was. She was a strong, loving woman who had overcome great hardship. Her journey had changed not only her life, but also the lives of many around her. Her story ended with a new beginning, one filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. It was proof that when someone cares enough to help, miracles can happen. She was living proof that kindness can save a life and that everyone deserves to be given a second chance. As the young woman grew stronger, her life began to change in ways she had never imagined. The days of pain and fear were slowly being replaced by moments filled with hope and new dreams. Every step she took forward was a small victory. But the biggest change was happening inside her heart. She started to see herself not just as a victim of her past, but as someone who could create a new future. The kindness shown to her by the stranger and everyone who helped her became a source of inspiration. She wanted to become a better person and to give back to the world that had given her a second chance. Learning new skills became part of her daily life. She attended classes to improve her reading and writing, which she had missed out on before. With each lesson, her confidence grew. She was proud of herself for working hard and for not giving up, even when things were difficult. Her new friends supported her on this journey. Some of them were people who had also faced hard times and were rebuilding their lives. Together, they shared stories, hopes, and dreams. This community became like a family for her, giving her the feeling of belonging that she had longed for. The young woman also discovered a love for helping others. She volunteered in small ways, such as helping people in the community center or visiting others who were lonely or sick. These simple acts made her feel happy and useful. She realized that kindness was powerful and could change lives. She began to speak publicly about her story. At first, it was scary to talk about her past, but she knew that by sharing, she could help others who were struggling. Her words inspired many people to be kinder and more understanding. Her voice became strong and full of hope. Her relationship with the stranger who saved her grew deeper. They were no longer just rescuer and rescued, but friends who cared deeply for each other. The stranger continued to support her dreams and was proud of how far she had come. Their friendship was a beautiful example of how love and kindness can heal wounds. Sometimes the young woman thought about her past and the pain she had suffered. These memories were hard, but she did not let them control her. Instead, she used them as a reminder of her strength and courage. She knew that she had the power to turn her pain into something good. She also worked on rebuilding her relationship with her family. Time and patience helped heal the old wounds. They learned to forgive and to understand each other better. This new beginning brought peace to her heart. The young woman's new life was not always easy. There were challenges and setbacks. Sometimes she felt tired or discouraged. But she always remembered the kindness that saved her and the hope that kept her going. These feelings gave her the strength to keep moving forward. She dreamed of a future where she could help many people. She wanted to start a group that would support those who were in need, just like she had been. This dream gave her purpose and joy. It was a way to give back the love and care she had received. Her story became well known in the community. People admired her courage and kindness. She was invited to speak at schools, events, and gatherings. Her message was simple but powerful. No matter how hard life gets, there is always hope. There is always a chance to start again. Through her work, she met many people who were inspired by her journey. Together, they created a network of support for those who were struggling. This group helped people find food, shelter, education, and friendship. The young woman was proud to be a part of this growing family. Her life was filled with new experiences and happiness. She traveled to places she had only dreamed of before. She made friends from different backgrounds and learned about their lives. This broadened her world and made her feel free. The young woman never forgot the stranger who gave her a second chance. She always thanked them for saving her life and for believing in her. Their friendship was a constant source of strength and love. It showed her that one act of kindness can change everything. Looking back, she realized how much she had grown. The pain and suffering she once felt had become a part of her story but did not define her. She was now a symbol of hope, courage, and kindness. Her journey inspired others to believe in the power of the human spirit. Her transformation was a beautiful reminder that even when life seems impossible, it can become wonderful again. She had learned to forgive, to love, and to dream. She had turned her darkest moments into a bright future. As she continued her journey, she knew that she had the strength to face anything. She was ready to live her life fully, helping others, and spreading kindness wherever she went. Her second chance was a gift she would always cherish. After the young woman was taken to the hospital, the real fight to live began. It was not just about healing her body, it was also about healing her spirit. The doctors, nurses, and caregivers worked carefully and patiently. Every small step forward was a big victory. At first, she was very weak. She could barely sit up or speak. Her body was tired from days without enough food or water. The pain was strong, and sometimes she felt like giving up. But she remembered the stranger who saved her and how much hope that brought. That hope gave her a reason to keep trying. The nurses helped her eat little by little. At first, she could only manage a few spoonfuls. But as days passed, her appetite grew. Eating food again was like a new beginning for her body. She learned how to trust that food was safe and that she could get enough to eat. This simple act of eating became a symbol of her healing. She also began physical therapy. This meant moving her body slowly and carefully to make her muscles strong again. At first, she could only move her fingers or lift a hand, but with practice and encouragement, she started sitting up, standing, and then walking a little bit. Each movement was hard but important. Sometimes the pain made her cry. It was not just physical pain, but also sadness and fear. She remembered the cold nights alone, the hunger, and the loneliness. She missed her old life and wished things could be different. But the medical team was there to listen and help her. Feel safe, the stranger who found her stayed close. They visited often, bringing comfort and friendship. They told stories to make her smile and helped her remember good things about life. The young woman felt lucky to have someone who believed in her and cared deeply. Their presence made the hospital feel less scary. One day, a counselor came to talk with her. The counselor was gentle and kind, asking about her feelings and what she wanted for the future. At first, the young woman was quiet and shy. It was hard to talk about her pain and fears. But slowly, she opened her heart and shared her story. Talking about her experience was difficult, but it also helped her feel less alone. The counselor taught her ways to feel stronger inside. She learned that healing was not just about the body, but also about the mind and heart. This new understanding gave her courage. The young woman's days began to fill with small joys. She enjoyed looking outside her hospital window at the trees and birds. She liked listening to music and reading simple books brought by the stranger. These little moments brought light to her days and made her feel alive. She also made friends with other patients and hospital staff. They treated her kindly and cheered her on. She learned that being part of a community was important. Even in hard times, people could show love and support. This helped her believe in people again. As her body grew stronger, so did her dreams. She started thinking about the future and what she wanted to do with her life. The pain of the past was still there, but it was no longer the only thing she felt. Hope was growing inside her like a small flower pushing through the dirt. The stranger helped her plan for life after the hospital. They worked together to find a safe place where she could live and continue to heal. This was a new step, and it made her nervous but also excited. She knew that a new beginning was waiting for her outside the hospital walls. One important part of her recovery was learning to trust again. When someone cares for you deeply, it can be hard to believe it is real, especially after being hurt so much. But with time, she learned that kindness was true and that people could be good. This trust was a gift that helped her heal inside. The young woman also started to think about how she could help others someday. She wanted to use her experience to make a difference. Her suffering had taught her how important it was to be kind and caring. She dreamed of sharing hope and help with those who were suffering like she had. During this time, her family began to search for her. They had been worried and sad, not knowing what had happened. When they found out she was safe and getting help, they felt relief and happiness. They visited her in the hospital, and slowly their bond started to heal too. Reconnecting with her family was not easy at first. There were many feelings: joy, sadness, and sometimes anger. But with patience and love, they began to rebuild their relationships. The young woman felt grateful to have them back in her life. Even if things were different now, the medical team, the stranger, her family, and the young woman all worked together to help her get stronger. It was a team effort, full of care, hope, and determination. Each day brought new challenges, but also new victories. The young woman learned that life could be beautiful even after pain. She learned that people's kindness could save lives, and she learned that she was stronger than she ever imagined. Her fight for life was not over yet, but she was ready to face the future with courage. She had been given a second chance, a chance to heal, to grow, and to live fully. This part of her journey showed the power of hope, love, and the human spirit. One early morning, as the sun was just beginning to rise, a stranger was walking through the quiet area where the young woman had been left. This stranger was someone who always cared about others. They had a kind heart and believed that every life mattered. As they walked, they noticed something unusual, a small figure lying near the bushes, almost hidden from sight. At first, the stranger thought it might be an animal or just a pile of clothes, but as they came closer, they realized it was a person. The young woman was very weak and barely moving. The stranger's heart filled with worry and compassion. They knew they had to help her, no matter what. The stranger carefully approached her, speaking in a soft and gentle voice. "Are you okay? Can you hear me?" The young woman tried to open her eyes and looked at the stranger with confusion and pain. She was scared but also felt a tiny spark of hope inside her. Someone had finally noticed her, someone who cared. The stranger called for help right away, using a phone to contact emergency services. While waiting, they stayed by her side, holding her hand and offering words of comfort. They covered her with a jacket to keep her warm and stayed close so she would not feel alone. As the ambulance arrived, the stranger explained everything they knew about her condition and how they found her. The young woman was taken to a hospital where doctors and nurses began to care for her. She was still very weak, but she was safe now. For the first time in many days, she was surrounded by people who wanted to help. The stranger visited her often in the hospital. They brought small gifts like fresh fruits, books, and flowers to brighten her room. They listened to her stories and encouraged her to keep fighting. The young woman slowly began to trust this stranger. Their kindness gave her strength to believe in herself again. Doctors worked hard to heal her wounds and make sure she had enough food and medicine. They discovered that she had been suffering from hunger and dehydration for a long time. It was a miracle she was still alive. The medical team praised the stranger for acting quickly and saving her life. During her stay in the hospital, the young woman faced many challenges. She felt tired and scared at times. The pain in her body reminded her of the hard days she had spent alone. But each time she felt weak, the stranger was there to lift her up. Their presence was a light in her darkness. The stranger also helped the young woman contact social workers and counselors. These professionals talked to her gently and helped her understand what had happened. They worked with her to find a safe place where she could stay once she left the hospital. This was important because she needed a new home and new hope. Slowly, the young woman's body grew stronger. She began to eat better and sleep peacefully. She smiled more and talked more. She started dreaming again, dreams about a life filled with happiness and safety. The stranger's care had opened a door to a new world for her. The young woman learned about the stranger's life too. They shared stories and laughed together. The stranger told her about the importance of kindness and how one small action can change a person's life. This made the young woman feel special and loved, something she had not felt in a long time. News about the young woman's rescue spread quietly in the village and nearby towns. People were inspired by the stranger's courage to help someone in need. Some even started to think about how they could be kinder to others. The story became a reminder that a little kindness goes a long way. The young woman knew that her journey was not over yet. She still had many steps to take before she could live a full life again. But now, she was not alone. She had a human who believed in her, who saved her, and who would stand by her side. Her heart was full of gratitude. She wanted to thank the stranger with all her soul. She wished to become a better person and to share her own kindness with others someday. This new hope gave her the courage to face each new day. The stranger never thought of what they did as special. To them, helping someone was just the right thing to do. But to the young woman, the stranger was her hero, the person who gave her a second chance at life. Together, they had started a new chapter, one filled with healing, friendship, and hope. The young woman's story was no longer about being left to die. It was about being saved, about the power of kindness, and about the beautiful bond between two humans who changed each other's lives forever. She was very young when her life took a terrible turn. She lived in a small village where life was not easy. The people around her were busy with their own problems, and few cared about someone like her. She had dreams and hopes like any other young person, but her world suddenly became very dark. One day, something awful happened. She was left all alone, in a place far away from home. No one came to help her, and no one knew what she was going through. The place where she was left was cold and quiet. The sun sometimes shone warmly, but mostly, the wind blew harshly through the trees and bushes. She had no food to eat and no water to drink. Her clothes were old and torn, and she had no shelter to protect her from rain or cold nights. She felt very weak and scared. Every day was a fight to stay alive. She did not understand why someone would do this to her. She thought about her family and friends, but they were not there. She felt very lonely. She cried silently, hoping someone would come and save her. But no one came. The animals in the wild were cautious around her, and she had to be careful not to hurt herself while trying to find food or water. Days passed slowly. Her body became thinner, and her strength faded. Her legs hurt when she tried to walk, but she could not stay in one place either. She moved slowly, looking for anything that could help her survive. Sometimes she found small fruits or leaves, but they were not enough. Thirst was the hardest problem. The water she found was dirty, but she had no choice. Despite everything, she did not give up. Inside her heart, a small flame of hope kept burning. She remembered stories she had heard about people helping others. She believed that someone kind might find her one day. This hope kept her moving forward, even when it was very difficult. Her face showed signs of struggle. Her eyes, once bright and full of life, were now tired and filled with pain. But they still held a spark, a will to live. Her hands were scratched and bruised from trying to protect herself and find shelter. Sometimes she would rest under a tree, trying to keep warm and gather her strength for the next day. The nights were the hardest. Darkness made her fear grow. She imagined wild animals nearby and wished for someone's voice or touch to calm her. But the stars in the sky were the only companions she had. Sometimes she whispered prayers, asking for a miracle. She hoped for a miracle that would change her life. Her clothes were not enough to keep her warm during cold nights. She tried to use leaves and branches to cover herself, but it was not enough. She shivered and curled up as much as she could. She thought about her childhood, the times when she felt safe and loved. Those memories gave her strength, even in the darkest moments. Each morning she woke up hoping that today would be different. She hoped that someone would come and help her. She hoped that the pain in her body would go away. She hoped that she would find food and clean water. Even when everything seemed hopeless, she did not stop hoping. Sometimes she saw people from a distance. They walked by, busy with their own lives, not noticing her. She wanted to call out to them, but her voice was too weak. She tried to wave her hands or make signs, but no one saw her. This made her feel invisible and forgotten, but still she did not lose hope. Her mind was filled with questions. Why was she left like this? What had she done wrong? Why did no one care? These questions hurt her heart deeply, but she also promised herself that if she got a second chance, she would never give up on life again. As time went on, her body became weaker. She sometimes felt dizzy and confused. She knew she needed help, but help seemed so far away. Yet every time she thought of giving up, she remembered the hope inside her. A hope that a kind person would find her and save her. Her story was not just about pain and suffering. It was about a young woman's strength and courage. Even when everything was against her, she kept fighting. She kept moving, kept hoping, kept believing that life could be better. This part of her story shows the power of hope in the darkest times. It reminds us that even when someone is left alone and forgotten, the human spirit can still shine bright. Her journey was just beginning, and the help she needed was closer than she knew.